I like the music. Let's carry on. No.
No, it's off.
Yeah, they can see myself live rather than on the screen. All right, thank you. Thank you, Daniel, for warming up the audience slightly, and thank you, Scott, for very nice music. Hope you are all energized. It's rainy weather. I appreciate you are all here, because I myself nearly said, oh no, maybe screw it. So let me ask you a few questions. Who here has already found their Mr. Right or Mrs. Right? Oh dear, oh dear, exactly. All right, so who is still looking? I assume the rest of you. And on the other side, who has met someone, but they wish they did not? Okay, there is always someone, that's good to know. So this is where I was about 10 years ago. I was in a relationship which I wished I was not in. And let me tell you a little bit about my country. Growing up in my country, in Ukraine, it means that by the age of 20, if you are not married, your life is pretty much over. And there is no way, another way about it. So obviously, when I came to age 20, I had such a massive pressure from my mom, from my grandmother, from my society, from my university community, because every other weekend there was someone in my uni getting married. And I was always going to these marriages and thinking, where is my time to do that, this important step in my life? So there was one guy coming along, sort of nice. He ticked all the boxes of my mom, all the boxes of my grandma. So I thought, let me give him a chance. And so I did. 3 years into relationship, I thought, oh, but I did not. But obviously, how did I know that at the time? Because we grow up, we think about so many, we are kind of bumped by so many things from outside world. And we don't necessarily know inside ourselves what are our reasons for getting into the relationship. And obviously, we get to listen to someone else, or we get to know the example of our parents, how they got together, because they got together in uni, and this is the only way you can meet someone, because after the uni, that's it, life is over, because you only go to work, and that's it. And it's not very nice to date someone at work, obviously. So there I was, at the age of 23, broke up with my boyfriend at the time. Long-term relationship. My mom obviously thought that my life was over, so was my grandma. So that's it. And pretty much I thought, okay, let me give up and see what the relationship is actually about. This is when I first read the book Mars, Venus. You probably heard about it. Yeah, men are from Mars, ladies from Venus. So I read it and I thought, maybe actually there is something you need to work on in a relationship. And as I asked you about Mr. and Mrs. Right, so who believes that they come in a ready-made package? They just come in the box, yeah, and you open it, and it says specially made for Olga, tailored specially for you. You're perfect Mr. Right. Obviously, it did not happen like that, and I thought, right, so maybe there is something to learn about it, and this is where my personal development kind of started. Not only as a person, but also thinking about it as a relationship and who I would like to be in my relationship with. So, and I met at that time, I met a nice guy who appeared to be my husband at the moment. But at that time, obviously, I did not know that. He was 3 years younger than me, and he was 21 at the time. And you don't think about marriage at the time. And he was from a different country, from Europe, from Austria, where people get married like 30, but at my age I was 24 at the time, so my life was already over, and I was like, oh, let me pick it up by bits and pieces. And luckily enough, because my husband maybe was younger, or maybe because he was so interested in our Ukrainian culture and all of that, so he thought, he gave me a chance to actually teach him something. And in return, I learned a lot from him, because his approach to life was completely different. So he was very relaxed. He was like, let go of things. Just let's carry on and see how things go. Whilst on my thing, I was like, I've got the agenda. I've got to go by this agenda, because obviously now, if I'm already 24, by the time I'm 25, I need something going. By the time I'm 26, I need probably a baby on the way and all of that. So he taught me let go. He taught me just learn what life will bring you tomorrow. And the same I did teach him to get a little bit organized, maybe to think about the future and so on. So as we learned from each other, it's been now 8.5 years since we met, we at some point found this togetherness point, as I call it. And since then, we never referred to each other as I. We always refer to our couple as we. And we know that this is very important to build a proper, good relationship, which you can, where you know that you can rely on another person. So this is something I want to share with you today, because that's exactly the reason why I started doing relationship coaching, because we found this point for ourselves, and we decided it's worth sharing it with other couples and with other single people possibly as well. So the first idea I want to share with you is vision. And we've heard a lot probably about vision, setting goals and targets in your careers possibly and everywhere. But rarely I ask a couple and they tell me, yeah, we've got a couple vision. Yes, we're thinking about this. We will build our life together exactly that way, and so on and so on. It's a very rare case, I have to tell you. And obviously those couples who I coach, they never heard of it, and this is what we need to go through. So recently I met my friend, and she told me, I broke up with my boyfriend. And I'm like, how come? You were so good together. I thought you sort of were growing together. And she said, no, he was growing, and I was sort of following him. So she said he had a vision for his life. He wanted to live in Spain. He wanted to open the salsa school in there and all of that. So he had this vision for himself. But since 2 years in relationship, he never really included her in that vision. Not in a way that we will be doing it together, only in a way, if you wish, you follow me. But where is she in this picture? Of course, at some point, she realized that this is probably not the person for her, and she might need to look for someone else. And obviously, as you meet someone else, it's not about finding the right person. It's about being prepared to grow as a couple. Because all of us might be, those of you who are single, who are still looking, you might be thinking, right, that person was not good for me, let me find the other one. But are you prepared to get this vision of yours ready for your life and include someone else in that vision? Whether you would like to live the life with someone and you're prepared to share it with them. And these are the things which I teach also single people, because most of them might have a vision, but they don't include the Mr. Right or Mrs. Right in it. Yeah, I want to be now, especially ladies sometimes, I'm not ready for a relationship, I want to focus on my career, because if the relationship comes in, I have babies, no career, so that's it, life is over. How do I make this work all together? But you don't have to compromise on just have one or another. You can have this balance in a way. There is no like perfect balance existing. Of course, at some point in life you might prioritize something, and another point in life you can prioritize another thing. But finding that vision where you can say, right, I'm focusing on career, but I don't mind having someone in my life, and this someone has to be that in that way, in a certain way. So the second point comes from here, which is meeting each other's needs. And before you met this person and before you have this perfect couple growth, you can think about who you're expecting to meet in your life. Who would it be? And you would be surprised when I ask a lot of people, especially ladies, they have massive lists. He has to be tall, he has to be obviously handsome, looking good, he has to have a certain career. Yeah, here you go. Yes. So if you want to meet someone like JP, you know, you're slightly late. But anyway, so this is, it not always works this way, you know, with brothers. Because always my ladies, when I teach seminars for women, they always ask, does your husband have a brother? I'm like, yeah, I wish, but no. So how it works in terms of needs, you have this list of expectations, obviously, from the person. But whenever I ask, what are you prepared to give in return? What's the answer? Myself. Here I am. That's it. Are you prepared to put in the work which might be the work on yourself as well. Because when you meet this person, they might tell you, oh, actually, you're not that perfect as well. And there is something you need to work on. So are you prepared to put this work in to be a perfect matching couple in a way that you know how you meet those needs and how you kind of accommodate each other's interests? And those where the interests come as well, because I often ask people, like, what do they do together? And they say, like, oh, my husband is really into this, and I'm into that. So those are two separate lives. And they don't have this common ground. They don't find something which interests them together. It took me 6 years, honestly, to get my husband into salsa classes. It's just unbelievable how he resisted. No way, there is no way, salsa is not for me, I cannot dance. I'm like, I understand you cannot dance right now. That's why the classes are created, so you can learn. Yeah, that's it. But obviously, yeah, so after 6 years of trying, we finally got into one class, and he loved it. He loved it. Now we've been dancing salsa for 2 years, and we go to salsa festivals, and actually he found the point which he enjoys in salsa, not the actual dancing. He does dance a little bit. It's on video, I need to say politely. But in general, he enjoys the community. He enjoys the people we met through salsa. We've got so many friends now who dance salsa. We go to parties together. We go to those festivals, to other countries together. So that's the part he enjoys. But obviously, he would not find out if he did not listen to me. That's the thing. All right, so and the third point, what I wanted to say, power struggles. Who is always right in their relationship? I am, yeah, that's it. So this, when it comes to relationship, all people struggle about is like, you said this, and you said that, but you remember you, blah, 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 blah. There's always this going on. Yeah, so have you been ever in a situation where you drive somewhere, so a couple is driving, yeah, for example, the husband is driving, and she is like, blah, 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 you know, I met today my girlfriend, and she was here, and so on, and we met for coffee, we met here, and so, turn right. Right, I told you here was right, yeah, why you never listen to me? What's going on here? And he's like, okay. And he drives alone, yeah? Have you ever seen anything similar? I'm sure you have. So that's the point about listening to each other and understanding at that moment, you might be urged to start arguing, like, oh, you did not really tell me what's the way to the restaurant, or you did not really tell me this and that, I did not hear, I did not really pay attention to what you were saying, and so on. So instead of arguing, what if you were to just stop, hold on for a moment, and ask yourself, would I like to be right, or would I like to be loved? And this changes the perspective completely. Because you might be thinking, I need to prove them that I was right at that point. But is it worth your relationship? It might be that after those arguments, they all kind of roll up into a bigger thing, because after a few years of such arguments, they might be little things, minor things, but afterwards you have this massive pile of unresolved disconnections, unresolved problems sitting in you, and every time little minor things happens, you just burst with all of that stuff. All your negativity, all your blames comes out at some point. So is it worth it? Or on another side, maybe it's worth to just learn to understand your triggers, understand your emotions, why they come up in certain situations, why you react this way, and learn to understand how you could react differently and how it would affect your relationship in the end. So those are really 3 fundamental things which I learned from my relationship, and they helped us massively as a couple. And as I said, we've been together for 8.5 years, and I'm now very pleased to have my husband helping me with events as well. I run events for couples or for singles, and that's so impressive to see him helping me, although he doesn't speak on stage yet. One day he will, but it helped us obviously create this image as well of a couple, and we know what we want from our life. We have our vision, and we are not scared about tomorrow, because we know we have this strong support in each other, and we celebrate each other's wins as well as we do celebrate our wins as a couple. So that's what I wish for all of you. Thank you very much for listening. See you. Thank you.